The concept of minimalism, though seemingly a modern phenomenon, is deeply rooted in the history and philosophies of various cultures across the world. Its origins are as diverse as they are ancient, reflecting a universal human inclination towards simplicity and essence. In ancient civilizations, we find the earliest expressions of minimalist thought. The ancient Greeks, for instance, had a word for it, eukrasia, which means simplicity or good mixture. This concept was central to their philosophy, art, and architecture, emphasizing balance and harmony over excess and embellishment. Philosophers like Socrates advocated for a life focused on the development of the soul, rather than the accumulation of material wealth. His lifestyle and teachings laid the foundation for later philosophers like Diogenes and Epicurus, who further expounded on the virtues of living simply and contentedly with little. Simultaneously, in the Eastern world, similar ideas were emerging. Buddhism, with its emphasis on detachment from material desires, aligns closely with minimalist principles. The Buddha taught that attachment is the root of all suffering, advocating for a life of moderation and mindfulness. Similarly, Taoism, with its principle of wu wei, or non-action, encourages a harmonious way of living that is in alignment with the natural world, free from unnecessary excess. In the monastic traditions of Christianity, Islam, and Hinduism, we also see a strong emphasis on simplicity. Monks and nuns in these religions often take vows of poverty and lead lives of minimal material possessions, focusing instead on spiritual growth and community service. This emphasis on spiritual rather than material wealth persisted through the Middle Ages, where despite the opulence of the nobility, the majority lived simply, often out of necessity rather than choice. During the Renaissance, a shift occurred as humanism and the pursuit of knowledge and artistic expression took center stage. However, this period also saw figures like Leonardo da Vinci, who despite his myriad inventions and artworks, preached the virtue of simplicity. The Reformation further challenged the excesses of the Church, with figures like Martin Luther advocating for a return to the core teachings of Christianity, free from the elaborate rituals and opulence that had come to characterize the Church. The Enlightenment era brought a renewed focus on rational thought and individualism. Philosophers like Immanuel Kant and Jean-Jacques Rousseau emphasized the importance of living in accordance with one's own principles, often advocating for a simpler, more authentic way of life. Rousseau, in particular, criticized the artificiality of society and posited that man was happiest in a state closer to nature. The Industrial Revolution marked a significant departure from these ideals as mass production and consumerism began to take hold. Yet even in this era, there were dissenting voices. The arts and crafts movement of the late 19th century, led by figures like William Morris, was a reaction against the excesses of industrialization, advocating for craftsmanship and simplicity in design. In the 20th century, minimalism began to take on its more modern form. The post-World War II era, especially in art and architecture, saw a movement towards minimalism as a response to the complexity and trauma of the war years. Artists and architects like Frank Lloyd Wright and Mies van der Rohe embraced simplicity, functionality, and the beauty of unadorned forms. This period also saw the emergence of the less is more philosophy, which has since become a mantra for the minimalist movement. Today, minimalism is often seen as a counter-movement to the rampant consumerism and digital overload of contemporary society. It's a re-emergence of ancient wisdom adapted to modern challenges, encouraging us to find fulfillment not in possessions or status, but in experiences, relationships, and personal growth. As we trace the lineage of minimalist thought from the ancient world to the present, it's clear that this philosophy is not a trend, but a timeless approach to living that has been revisited and reinvented across cultures and centuries. Its enduring appeal lies in its simplicity and universality, a call to focus on what's truly essential.